winter time's like -5 degrees. This thing pissed me off. This is so bad I won't do business with Montrose Ford anymore. And they're great people, but my wife was like, "Hey, my wiper stopped working." I was like, "You know what? You need an oil change and tire rotation. Just take it to Montrose, drop it off. Tell them you need an oil change tire rotation to do there was like 3 recalls on it." And I was like, "Just tell them to look at it. I'm sure it's the fuse, whatever." And so I go to pick up the thing, and they charged her $229 extra for the diagnosis of the wiper blades not working. And it was because the fuse was popped. And I walked into the dealership. I was pissed. I was like, "Guys, I mean, what? You guys just picked up 15 plus hours of recall work.
Right.
You're going to ding my wife for $200 for a fuse." He's like, "Well, we had to diagnose it." I'm like, unless your mechanic's a complete fucking moron, the first thing he did was go to the fuse box and check the fuse box for the fucking wiper motor. Like it's got 12,000 miles on it or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, and he's like, "Well, that's not necessarily the step by step." I was like, "You got to be kidding me. Do you hire fucking morons here? Like, you can literally Google it. It'll tell you that's the first thing to do." But it's -5. I wasn't going to have my wife do that, and I wasn't here. So I was like, "Fuck it, I'll never go back here again." Like, and that thing's it's got like 5 recalls on it right now. And I was like,
is it 26?
22, 23 or 22. God, it feels so old now. But yeah, I think it's a 22. So yeah, anyhow, enough about all that shit. Let's get this thing going.
These things on.
Welcome to the night zone. Hear the warriors speak. Life's the battlefield and we ain't feeling weak. From love to the game and the power we seek. Our voice is strong, breaking every peak. Talk of love and battle scars, everything that's real. From touchdown to sermon, you know the deal. Strength in every word we begin to reveal. Truth in every tale as our lives we unveil. Talk of love and battle scars, everything that's real. From touchdown to sermon, you know the deal. Strength in every word we begin to reveal. Truth in every tale as our lives we unveil. Protect and provide, we're knights in the fray. Nothing off limits, we got something to say. Life and love, fitness and fight all day. Guys Night Podcast, let's ride the wave.
Greetings, everybody. Welcome to the Guys Night Podcast. Tonight, I am here with Jeff and Andrew, who run one of the most successful car shows in all of Ohio, and it's located right here in Medina, Ohio. And with us having a big event coming up August 1st at the Common Grounds, we figured what better way to get both these events out on the market and hear a little bit about how to build a successful car show. It's the 10th year of this event, so welcome, Jeff.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, dude. And Andrew, pleasure.
Thank you.
So let's go back 10 years ago to let's have a car show, or what stirred this thing up. I guess first tell us how many cars showed up last year.
There was a little over 1,400 cars last year.
All classics, or do you guys have different kind of categories?
I mean, anything can really show up. I mean, muscle cars, trucks. I mean, monster trucks. I mean, all kinds of stuff. So, anything from $500,000 '69 Camaros to your average, hobbyist. So there's all kinds of cars that come, but yeah, it's pretty huge.
So did you guys start this together? Was this a joint venture at first, or did you start it? How did that work out?
No. So in 2017, that was the first year that I had this show. It was not this big at all. I was doing some detailing out of our house that we were renting, and a good friend of mine, Rob, he's got a Fox body. He bought it brand new. And he's like, I want this thing clean. And I'm like, all right, sweet. So detailed it up for him. And I was kind of talking to him about how to get my detailing business kind of out and about. And he's like, let's do a car show. He goes, we know a bunch of people. Why not? I'm like, all right, that'd be cool. So the first one we had down at the Sharon Center Community Park. I don't know if you know where that's at. It's on 94 when you're going down a little hill.
Okay.
It's like a baseball field. There's a
I do know you're talking. Okay.
There's that vet hospital that's right next door. I'm like, all right, this will be cool. We rented the spot. It was like $25 to rent the park for the day. And, we had a bunch of buddies that kind of helped out. I had to run a grill, and, it was our first time. I didn't really know what the hell I was doing.
Yeah.
And Rob, he kind of pushed me. He said, here, let's do this. Back when I was growing up, my dad used to host car shows when I was a kid. You know, we'd have like Swenson's and Fairlawn. He'd do cruise-ins there, and it was really cool. I mean, it was all at nighttime. You got all the neons up.
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
everyone's hanging out and having a good time. And my dad's like, he's like, you know, I'll do the music for you. So he brought his like little garage stereo out and, you know, his Bluetooth, and it was really cool. So I had my old man playing some music for me, and my wife made up like a chalkboard of like a menu. So we had like burgers and hot dogs, and it was like $2 for a burger or something like that. And the grill that I ended up renting, it didn't work. Like 3/4 of it was out.
Oh.
So I had two of my friends. They were grilling these hot dogs and burgers, and like, and I'm like, this just isn't working. And I think we had like maybe like 20-25 cars, and most of it was, you know, my buddies and stuff, and a few other people that kind of knew about it that came with them, and everyone had a good time. And I'm like, well, you know, let's try to do this again. You know, and Rob's like, well, you know, you can do it kind of annually, you know, keep it this same weekend kind of thing. And I went to school with Gino Fasciana's kids, Tony and like Nicole and all of them. Played sports with them, and you know, Gino owns a ton of property around Medina County, and he's like, why don't you do it at On Tap? He goes, you don't have to grill. You don't
the old
have
On
to,
Tap, right? The one off the one in front of the Kia store.
No, yeah. So this was when the plaza was first, when
Oh,
On Tap moved across the street.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, they had that big where Verizon is.
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Master's Pizza and stuff. And like, well, I mean, that'd be cool. Like, if you'll like let me use your lot. He's like, yeah. He's like, I don't give a shit. He goes, you'll use it. He goes, I'll bring some of my cars down. So the next year we used the On Tap lot, and we filled up like about half the front and that back parking lot in the back.
Oh, you got the behind the building there.
Right. Yeah. Like where Verizon goes behind, and there's that big parking lot down there. Like that was full. And
That's probably 60, 70 cars at least, right?
Yeah, I think so. And you know, I had Frank and Cookie LaManna. They've known me since I was a kid. They're like, well, we'll do your music for you. You know, we'll help you spread the word. And so they came.
So who is Frankie LaManna? I don't know the name.
So Frank LaManna, he just recently passed, unfortunately. He is a big like car community staple. He's been doing DJing for years, and he pretty much does all of Northeast Ohio's like car show stuff.
Okay.
And DJs. He's got
Like at the actual car show, like he's announcing stuff. And just
he does the microphone, and they've known me since I was a kid. Like I used to hang out in their truck all the time when I was probably like 5 or 6 years old, and you know, steering the wheel and honking the horn and playing with the mic and stuff. And they're excellent people, and they're like, you know, we'll do the music for you for, you know, your second show. We'll help promote it. We'll print out flyers and stuff. So the second show was at On Tap, and again, I mean, it filled up, you know, half the front parking lot and then down that one side, and it was successful. And Frank and Cookie, they're like, you know, let's do it again. Let's see if we can, you know, fill this parking lot up.
So real quick, are you involved at this point, year 2?
Nope.
Still not, just
Nope.
All right.
Yeah, it's been Andrew comes in at a good year. So but
just stand by.
he's great people. But yeah, the second year was a hit, and everyone was having fun. And they're like, let's do, you know, let's help you with the flyers. Let's get the flyers on the DJ truck. Because like I said, I mean, they did everything, like all kinds of shows. They were in Vermilion, Lorraine, like all the local Quaker Steak and Lube car shows. I mean, they did it all.
Wow.
So every car show that was in Northeast Ohio.
That's who you hired or who you brought in.
Yeah, Frank and Cookie would do the music and DJing for everyone. So I'm like, all right, you know, we've known you for so long. Let's roll with it. So the third year, again, we're at the On Tap Plaza, and we filled the entire lot.
Wow.
So the front, down back the side, that back parking lot again. And I mean, we were even trying to.
Are we talking about the actual cars in the show this time filled it? Oh,
yeah,
wow.
It was filled. And like, you know how they would park like along the curbs and stuff around there? Those were full. You couldn't even get into it.
Wow.
And some of the business in there, they weren't really too happy.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I couldn't really see who, but I could see who. Okay.
Like the gym, and like, you know, a couple other things. And they're like, we can't be having these cars parking here. And I'm like, look, I can't help it. And like the night before, I usually kind of go in and tape off spots.
Yeah.
And I'd come in the morning to set up, and these cones are moved because everyone's wanting to go to the gym again, which is fine.
Yeah.
But they would get mad because I'd have to put the cones back.
Right.
Like, hey, we're going to try to get some spots. Like you guys will have your spots, but then it just
got
went
out of
berserk.
control.
Yeah.
This is year 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So completely filled a lot. Now at this point, obviously you're doing food and everything through.
It was on tap.
So when you're setting up these events, and this is from my experience, are you setting up anything where like, hey, based off they're going to throw you some cash or anything like that? Or is that just a partnership and they do their thing? You just.
Yeah. I mean,
Gotcha.
the car scene, I mean, if that restaurant is supporting what you're doing,
Yeah.
the car people are going to support you.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
Gotcha.
And it's kind of easier that way if you already have a food venue there.
Yeah.
So
did you guys at this point, year 3, obviously you got a full parking lot, but did you do anything in addition to that as far as a venue? Like, are you bringing in vendors at that point or booths or anything like that?
No, not at this point.
Okay.
Again, Frank and Cookie, they were helping with the music and stuff. I mean, that was the
only thing you really
that was
had
really the
going
only
on.
thing I had because we had Master's Pizza there, and then On Tap. You could go whichever one.
Yeah.
But the owner of On Tap, Brian Carardi, he's a big car guy. So he don't care. He's like, bring in all the cars.
Yeah.
So
For them, I can imagine that's great business for all day.
mm-hmm. And it got to the point where the other businesses in that plaza just kind of weren't happy with it.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
One time a year to bring all
Yeah,
those people
that's
to your
it.
front door, and you still like, man, that's
Mhm.
that's incredible that somebody would look at it that way,
Yeah.
rather than the opportunity to have 1,000, 2,000 people see your business.
Right. Yeah.
But it is what it is.
And again, I mean, you got to, that's not knocking the business.
Of course not.
It's, they got to have parking for their people, of course. But when it started getting so big so fast, it's kind of like, well, all right, this lot's not going to work. So, during that time, me and Gino were talking about possibly taking it back down to the circle and the Sharon Park. And I'm like, we could probably do that, but not everyone's going to want to park on grass or a baseball field.
Right.
Then
Then you're gonna worry about the weather too. What if
right.
it rains the night before?
Yeah. Cars getting stuck. And,
Yeah.
I'm not
disaster.
I'm not gonna want to put my car on grass or something after it rains. But that year, Gino's like, hey, he's like, I got a ton of acreage for parking spots. Why don't you come down and check it out? And his main business is is Pleasant Valley Corporation, and they do a ton with Medina County.
Okay.
And Gino's Gino's a big car guy. He's got a bunch of muscle cars, and he's like, let's do it at my building and let's see what happens. Well, I think this was the year. Let's see, I started in 2017, so it'll be 18 and 19. So yeah, this would be 19 when COVID started coming around. So that was the big, really, this big speed bump, as you will, of the car show. I didn't think it was going to happen at all. So Gino's like, we'll do it here. And COVID started coming around, and now we had to do a bunch of protocols. And it was tough.
Yeah.
I actually have had people, and still to this day, are boycotting my show because of us having a show during COVID.
Really?
Yeah. And
that is incredible. To this day, they hold a grudge against you for
Yeah.
not doing certain things.
Well, no, I wouldn't say it's not doing certain things. It's that we had it.
They
So-
don't have theirs.
Yeah. Yeah. They Yeah.
Oh, because they didn't have theirs.
Yeah.
mhm.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Dude, just off the subject, COVID seems so long ago. It doesn't even seem real.
I know,
Is it not
it's-
craty to think back to that time that like we were literally told to stay in our houses?
it feels like it was like 2 months ago.
It
Doesn't it?
it feels like
really
it doesn't.
does.
It feels like make believe. Like
Right.
it's funny because we were having the conversation the other day. It's like, can you imagine like one day my daughter's like she's 2 months old. Like one day she's gonna be like 15 and be like,
What's
honey,
the-
you'll never believe this, but 20 years ago, we were all told that we couldn't go to work or school and we had to stay in our houses
Yeah.
because,
You're not allowed to go past your driveway. Kind of deal.
you had to, yeah, you could go hang out at school, but you had to be 6 feet away from, just funny to think back to that. It was like a real thing. So, It's unfortunate, but yeah, I mean, to this day, I still see people wearing masks, and I know they just hate the world.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. You can kind of now that you know that mask wearing thing's kind of it's like a stereotypical thing now.
yeah.
You know, like
It's tied to like a political stance or to you
like
know.
you got a mask on in the car by yourself. We already know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but
It never fails. I feel like every Sunday, if I go to Starbucks, I always pass one person in the drive-through to Starbucks with the mask on. Like, and I just like they gotta like pull it down to order. It's like, what,
dude? You're in the car by yourself. You know,
what are you
I
doing?
mean, I get it. Like, there's probably people that that have health issues that
Of course
are granted that. But if you're not, what are you doing?
You know, it's funny. I actually heard the other day. You know who the least symptomatic people were during that entire period? Smokers.
Yeah.
I heard that and I was like, are you kidding me? They're like, yeah, they got like a freaking block of fucking tar and nicotine on their lungs. Like they're good.
Yeah, they don't need the mask.
Yeah.
They're good. We can go 4 inches from each other. You'll be all right.
That's what happens when you've passed enough cigarettes between all your friends to like get a puff here and there. Yeah, you're just immune to everything.
Those high school days of us just smoking packs, just passing them one to another.
Going through your dad's ashtray and fucking finding the ones that are long enough to snip the edge off.
Yeah, that like inch and a half one that was left.
My dad smoked Marlboro 100s, dude. We could fucking get like almost a full regular cigarette of the leftovers.
Yeah, my dad had the Camels, man. The Camels would be like, oh shit, we got 1.5 left, and I'll just gave one a couple of my buddies. Here you go. Don't tell on us, kind of deal.
Oh man. All right. So yeah, right. Exactly. It's like when you make your younger siblings fucking do something so they can't tell on you. Meanwhile, if they went to your parents, was like, Dad, he made me do this, so I wouldn't tell on him. You'd get your ass beat twice as bad. So you're the COVID year. How was the showing? I mean, obviously, you have some people that are still upset to you today, but I mean, how was the show up overall?
Dude, it was fantastic, and I mean, I couldn't believe it. And like I've had the same helpers since day one. Backing me with the car show. My wife, she's in on it all the time. My buddies, they want to push you to have another one, and they're like, dude, like we couldn't keep up with the amount of cars that were coming in.
Wow.
And
this is at the new property. So is this the place you do it at now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I've seen
then,
photos. It looks like an airport with hangars. Like this is a big.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got Gino's main building, which is massive in itself. I think that parking spots, just where his building is at is probably 200, 250 parking spots.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And then you have 3 other big buildings that you can park in between. You can park behind. It's huge.
Yeah.
And when we were doing that for COVID, we had to jump through a bunch of hoops, and we had to go to the Medina County health officials because we got to follow all these guidelines, and Gino was like, hey, we got to change this on the flyer. We got to put this on the flyer. And the day of the car show, the Medina health officials came into the car show lot and wanted to make sure that we were
doing what you're supposed to.
Yeah,
really? Wow.
So we had to put, 6 feet apart on the flyer. We had to put, the sanitized stations all throughout the show. And the whole entire time of the show, I mean, I had people coming up to me. They're saying, oh my, this is great. Thank you for hosting the show. All we want to do is get out of the house. And I think there were over 800 cars that year.
All right. So real quick, while you're talking, I'm going to pull this photo up. So make sure I make a mark of myself to look this up. What time? What do we got here? 25 minutes in. All right. So here is a drawing that you've got set up. So tell us kind of what I'm looking at here, so I can pull this whole thing up on the screen.
So
this entry is this yellow
at the bottom.
Okay,
that entrance is actually off of 18.
Okay, and is this the main building that you were talking about? That belong. Okay,
yep. So
this is, you got this initial parking lot over here. Is this where is the green area for where cars are able to go?
Yeah, that's all cars.
So this is all space for cars that are there for the car show. So I mean, you could see this is double stacked here, double stacked here.
Yeah, and it's double stacked even between the two buildings down there to your left.
Over here.
Yeah. So keep going down.
In the front.
Yeah,
oh, down here.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow. So you fill this all kind of. I can't see those spaces.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see it right here.
Yeah, those are all spaces.
Holy smokes, all around here. Now, what's in these buildings? Is there actually stuff in these buildings?
I know there's Galaxy Medical's one.
There's a door business. I forget. It starts with an F.
Okay, I wasn't sure if there was any
There's
there was like indoor areas where you guys were allowed to take up space for when somebody brings in some of the nicer cars or anything.
It's all local businesses. Like I think Romeo's main building, like their main office, like the pizza place. Their main office is in there.
Now, you have this part marked in red over here. I'm assuming no parking is allowed.
That's all for trailer stuff.
Gotcha.
So,
wow.
yeah.
So this is like food truck alley and stuff like that, or trailers for the cars that are getting delivered? Or?
Yeah, trailers for, if somebody needs to haul a race car or something,
Gotcha.
They can park over there.
Okay. And then what's the blue area over here?
That's a whole nother building for just spectators.
To park?
To park, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there's probably another 150, 200 spots just in there for spectators.
I mean, this is incredible for those in Medina that don't get see how big this area is. I mean, yeah, there's a ton of space. And that's incredible. You said you had how many cars last year? 1,400?
Yeah, it was over 1,400
That's
cars.
insane.
Yeah,
so I mean, you got to be pulling people from all over the region at least.
I mean, I've had people from, really good friends of mine come from Michigan, like middle of Michigan.
I would think because 1,400 cars in just Ohio, that's going to be tough to find that are going to.
I mean, even I've had a couple years prior. I mean, I had a couple bring his wife, him and his wife. They brought 2 cars. They were from North Carolina.
Wow.
And they're like, yeah, we saw your flyer on one of our local car show groups. And I'm like, from here or where you're at? And he's like, no, from North Carolina.
Wow.
He's like, so we wanted to make the trip and see what it was about. And they actually camped in the lot the night before.
Makes sense.
So they had a hotel locally around here, and then they decided to find a spot early in the morning.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. All right, so COVID pretty successful at this point. It's just you, and at that point, was it Rob? You said that was kind of helping you out and some of your buddies.
It was, yeah. I mean, my wife, she helps out a lot in every show, and then I had a handful of my good friends. Some of them moved away recently, but they've been helping me from day one. They help out and they run the entrance and all kinds of stuff, and that's how they count all the cars. They count them by the raffle tickets that they give out.
Gotcha.
So every car that comes in automatically gets a door prize ticket, and we just throw it in another box and we count it afterwards.
Gotcha.
And COVID, I mean, it was incredible because everyone came out, and I mean, there were so many people just walking around. Like I was just blown away.
Yeah, no kidding. That's fantastic.
Yeah, and we had people trying to call and get our show shut down.
Wow.
Because of regulations, and they were upset. And well, I mean, we went exactly how we were supposed to, because we wanted to have the show, because it's been 4 years now.
Yeah.
And it was just it's sad that people have to do that.
Yeah.
But
I mean, that's just a society that we live in. As far as people, there's just some people that cannot allow other people to make their own choices, their own decisions, and be okay with it.
And again, I mean, COVID was kind of the push to keep the show going.
Yeah.
I mean, we had over 800 cars and a ton of people, and it
wow.
was
the first year I was there.
Yeah.
Oh, so the COVID was the first year for you. Wow.
Well, I was in.
Yeah, he showed up with his. I think you showed up with your truck.
Yeah, my detail truck wrapped.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was so cool.
Now he came in as a sponsor for our show too.
All right, so let's introduce Andrew, who has been
he's
quietly over there just enjoying the story time. But so this is COVID's when you start to get involved, but you were a little bit involved before that from a sponsor side.
No, that was the first year I sponsored it, and then I took my truck up there.
And you had a detailing business.
I do.
Still have that detailing business?
I do.
What's the name of it?
Atomic Detailing.
Atomic Detail. Are you right out here in Medina? Or
Yep.
Okay.
620 East Smith and the corporation.
Shout it out, dude. 620 East Smith, dude. Atomic Detail. And like, hey, that's awesome. But so when is that the first year for sponsorship?
It was.
So how did that work? What made you start to think, hey, we need to start getting sponsorship for this?
One, because of how big it was getting, and I mean, it's not cheap. It's not cheap to run a show, especially by yourself. So I mean, we need
So
some help.
talk to me about that is because I'm unfamiliar with that aspect. Is we're starting to do a show, and like,
Mhm.
obviously we're not thinking about asking for sponsorships on a first show and things
Right.
like that, a first event. What are some of the expenses that you guys started to come into that required you to start looking out for guys like Andrew to sponsor and be part of it?
Well, I mean, you got to start with the music truck too. Yeah, I've known him for so long, but I mean, I've still, you know, you still
Got to
got
him
to
some
pay
money.
him, you know. But I mean, it's $500 just for
DJ for the day.
yeah, just a music truck, and then you start adding the porta potties. You start adding, you know, trash bins, or if you don't have any, you start adding tents and tables and chairs, and I mean, it just starts adding up, and I mean, it's not cheap.
So at this point, were you doing food trucks yet?
This the COVID year would be the first year for.
So you guys did food trucks that
Correct.
year. Oh, you were just pissing all the COVID
Yeah.
people off.
Yeah.
Letting people get in line for food,
Exactly.
eating
Yeah.
around each other.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that COVID year is still sleeping in people's heads,
Yeah.
and all that does with me and, you know, Andrew taking over just fuels it,
Yeah.
because it's like, all right, well, if you're upset, then you're going to be upset when we have 2,500 cars,
Heck yeah.
and it's getting to that point very quickly.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
So you started gathering sponsors. So how did you take on sponsorships? When you're running a car show, like, first of all, were you comfortable asking, or were you like, man, this is kind of hard to go ask people for
It
money?
was tough.
yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was easy, because you don't know who's going to be like, oh yeah, you know, let's do it, or who doesn't want to, you know, donate their sponsorship money.
Were you
know?
asking for money for per car registration at that point yet?
COVID was the first year.
Okay.
Yeah. Just because of the amount that goes into it.
Yeah.
I try to take what I put into it back and put it in for the next year's show. So, you know, $10 is, you know, that's one of the cheapest car shows you can get into. And it was to the point where, you know, I know a lot of people in the industry like Andrew, like, you know, he's got a detail business, and what better venue and place to promote his stuff while promoting the car show.
Right.
So I hit up Andrew. I said, hey, I was like, we're going in our next really big year of showing, and, you know, do you want to step up and be a sponsor for it and be a part of it? And sure as shit, he's like, yeah. He goes, you know, I'm in. And, you know, he donated sponsor money, and then he did like baskets and like detail coupons and stuff like that for, you know, if you get a door prize or something, you can go pick a detail out, and, you know, which is great. And then, you know, Jared, you know, he does my photography. He's been doing it since the first one. He sponsors it, and then, you know, he does professional photo shoots the day, like at the car show in the back parking lot.
Yeah.
If somebody wants a car show, you know, photo shoot, there you go. Jared's right there for you.
Yeah,
you know?
that's awesome. Well, we even talked about that because with our first show, like, we're doing a bike night, car ride-in kind of thing combined, right? And we're like, I mean, it's an old warehouse. Like, there's like brick floors and just cool like vibes, like old warehouse windows and stuff. And I'm like, dude, we can definitely pull people with bikes or cars into this spot and do just wicked photo shoots. The lighting is great. And, so it's like, it becomes like a home for creators too. Like, you ever see those videos where the guy like stops the guy at the gas station with the cool car and then like has him like drive around and do some things, and like, yeah, the opportunity to find
and it
those.
shows him like just doing a regular pictures on his phone.
Yeah.
And it comes into like the edited version afterwards.
Yeah. But so there's got to be like people like that are just itching to like get around this show where you've got 1,500 just random vehicles that you could, you know.
Yeah. And he does it every year. And I mean, he does a fantastic job doing the pictures. And, you know, now it's to the point where he pretty much just shows up and does his thing. And I couldn't be happier that he's involved with it.
Yeah, for sure.
But again, I mean, he's been doing my pictures for the show since day one.
Wow.
Like, even at the regular little small, you know, 25, 30 cars, I mean, he was busting out these incredible pictures.
That's awesome.
And it just kind of made it even kind of what it is.
Yeah, well, because then the people get something out of it that go too, right? So your first year as a sponsor, did you was the ROI there for the investment? Did you actually get the calls and get the details afterwards? No.
It's all old dudes that want to touch their own car. They don't want you touching their car. I got a few. Some people were interested in some stuff, and then kind of got carried away. And people were like, "Oh, do you paint cars?" I'm like, "I'm not set up to paint cars. Why would I paint cars?"
But yeah, I mean, he's been on since the COVID show, and you know, like a bunch of other my sponsors, and that I've been friends with for, a long time. And, they all have businesses. They have a paint business. Like, he doesn't paint, he details, but, Mike Brown Customs has been a part of it ever since too. And he's one of the top body guys in Cleveland. And, he donates his baskets, shirts, and, all kinds of stuff. And then, Flight Fab, Miles, he's been a sponsor again since I think like the second one, the first, maybe even the first one.
Wow.
But he's got, some of the nicest lift kits on trucks, and he's a part of it, and he brings probably a handful of his customer cars and trucks and stuff. And there's this endless list of sponsors that have been a part of it ever since. And they're just repetitive. They do it every year.
What do you think the success or the secret to that bringing everybody back every year is? What do you think car shows do it wrong, and where do you think that you've gotten it right?
I don't know. It's, you got to have something different, something for everybody, there's a lot of these car shows around that are kind of just general, like they're year specific, they're in their 60s, 70s, 80s muscle cars. And that's great. That's the stuff I grew up on.
Yeah.
But now all the younger generations, the 20s and, the teenage kids, they're coming out and they're bringing their cars, and they're learning how to build a car off of YouTube and TikTok, what's popular on TikTok. And my show's not one to just keep on a specific, genre or whatever. Everybody comes. So you get bagged pickup trucks. Again, you get $500,000 69 Camaros that have been professionally built by, the owner or shop, and the builds are incredible. We get nostalgic race cars that have been racing around Cleveland and Norwalk since the 60s. Those cars that are still around are coming out for it. And it's just incredible the amount of cars that come and the build qualities, and just I've been going to the car shows around Cleveland for almost all my life.
Yeah.
And there's cars that I've never seen.
Sure.
That come from everywhere. And that's what people want to see.
Yeah, I think for someone who doesn't venture I don't go to car shows on a weekly basis or a monthly basis, but I think, it becomes like you said, there's the vet shows. Like my family owned Corvettes, so we'd go to Corvette shows all the time when I was younger. And that's like one type of car show. It's typically all Corvettes, and that's
Corvettes
awesome, right?
Corso.
Yeah, and it's awesome. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Like, who doesn't love like the different generations of seeing how the cars have progressed? But I think the way that you're talking, like, to me, and that's kind of goes back to like what Guys Night is all about, and what these events are going to start being for us is, I don't care what you bring. Like, it's really just an opportunity to hang out with other people that enjoy the same stuff and network. And there's no reason that I see it once in a while when they do coffee on the square, where there'll be like some dude who's probably like 85 years old that has like the F100 green pickup truck that's just like mint. And he's sitting there talking to a kid who's got like the new Supra with a body kit on it.
Mm-hmm.
And, completely opposite sides of the spectrum, but ultimately like that old guy respects that young guy and vice versa, because they both like have put a lot of time, effort, and of course money into whatever they're building, and there's just so many different aspects of what people can do with vehicles to these days to make them fun and interesting and personalized.
And that's where these younger kids are learning from. They can go on YouTube and TikTok and find out what the hottest trend is, but the way that they're gonna learn is going to these car shows, and again, talking with the older gearheads and the people that have been around it for 40, 50, even maybe 60 years, and kind of point these kids in the right direction. And that's kind of how the show is. You get all kinds of stuff and ages and car groups, and they all just collect together. And
you said too, monster trucks. So it doesn't have to be a sports car. It doesn't have to be a muscle car.
No.
You get somebody that's got a 10-inch lift kit, custom lift kit on their Silverado or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, once again, just makes it for something new to see while you're sitting there. And it probably keeps people around, I would imagine, longer too. Like, it gets to the point if you're at a classic car show and you can only look at so many 67 Bel Airs before you're like, that's cool, but whatever.
Yeah.
You could be literally looking at a 67 Bel Air and then pull up to a 2018 Silverado with a 18-inch lift and
Yeah,
35-inch rims or whatever. So
and that's that's the thing is like we have exotic cars coming too that a lot of people don't get to see every day,
especially in Ohio.
Yeah, there there's and I know I think there's a rally that's kind of around the same
down in Columbus.
I think so.
Yeah, I've seen it advertised a couple of times.
Yep.
I think it's kind of a bike car thing too,
right?
But it's around exotics.
Yeah, and we've had some of those guys come up through and swing through on their way in the rally. I think it might be the same weekend.
Yeah,
and I think one of their paths were passing the show, and we probably had 15, 20 of them lined up in the whole center row, and they're hanging out with everyone, getting putting kids in the cars, and that's what it's about to us.
Oh yeah.
That's how I was when I was a kid, going to all these car shows with my dad and my mom, and I would be sitting in all my parents' friends' cars.
Yeah.
Hey, can I sit in it? And they just let me sit in it for 20 minutes, half hour, and just, making noises and all kinds of stuff. But that's how, I'm younger, but I want to push that to still be around.
Yeah, of course.
And there's a lot of shows that aren't like that anymore.
Well, there's something to say to that too. We talked about Scott Caraboulet, the Star Boys, and the stunt riding, and he still does stunt shows. Now he does it in Ride for Life where they go into prisons and stuff like that. And he's going to do one on August 1st for us, but he actually finds more pride doing it in the prisons for those guys because everybody on the outside it takes a lot to impress somebody because you could stare at your phone for 30 minutes
right,
and see somebody who wrecked their bike 50 times, but because they've got 10 million followers, they can just get a new bike to do a stunt versus, the guy who's scratching it together with every penny that he has just to do something. And we've just become kind of complacent to these different things that are out there because you can see it all online. I'm sure the same thing goes for car shows too. Like we take for granted, like looking at pictures of a 67 Camaro online versus, then seeing it in person. So it's great to like have that event, have that out there so that people can just go and enjoy being out and talking to other people and rather than just another event where you're sitting there staring at your phone.
Yeah, and that's kind of how, we go back to the COVID show and everybody was stuck at home.
Yeah.
Everyone's trying to get out and do things and everything was going to happen is now canceled. And the event is now, well, we don't know when we're going to do it. We don't know if it's going to be this year or 3 years from now because we don't know if we're going to be stuck. And that's why we pushed it so hard to follow the guidelines to try to make it happen for everybody. And we did that. And
that probably took a lot out of you, but it probably taught you a lot as far as the future years too. Like, hey, this is what's really possible if we work at it.
Right.
So
yeah, and that's kind of what helped, push me to keep going with it.
So at this point, you're a sponsor with them. What did you start getting more and more involved? What is your involvement with the show now? As far as the last couple of years since then.
Well, that was when work, like I couldn't make it to a couple, still sponsored it. And then last year, I co-hosted it or junior hosted it. Jeff's teaching me things, so.
How did that come about? So when you bring in a co-host, did you not have a co-host or a junior? What do you call yourself? A junior host?
Junior host. I
co-host.
didn't know what I was doing. I was following Jeff around.
No.
Oh, I gotta learn this. And
I've
that.
never had a co-host before.
Gotcha.
I've always done it, myself. Again, with the help of people, of course. But it started getting so heavy. I mean, even just as on me and my shoulders of, all right, what do I do next? How can I better than last year? How can I get more vendors? How can I get more sponsors? What do I like the money that, even we're putting into it as just me and my wife. And I mean, it's coming out of pocket. Like we're talking $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 out of pocket for these things.
Wow.
And it's just not. It's not feasible, and
well, I was going to say, I don't mean to cut you off, but I'd imagine too, are you doing awards and things like that?
Oh yeah.
Like that. So that is the part that is the most overwhelming to me is like, all right, I want to make it enjoyable, but then you also want to have a return for those that show up,
right.
Like something that they could get excited for each year. Like either it's an award or, you mentioned door prizes and stuff like that. And organizing that aspect of it has to be super time consuming when you're trying to do it all. and I know you had friends that helped you. I have friends that want to help too, and that's awesome. But ultimately, like it rests on your shoulders, right? Like after COVID, 800 cars, like now you're like, man, I can't have 900 people show up or 1,000 people show up next year after this year and let them down.
Right.
So I have to put even more effort into it to make sure that vendors show up and food trucks are there. And, you know, so that part of that would be the part to me that would be like the most overwhelming when you start to get to that amount of people.
And it's getting to that point where it's like, all right, now we have, you know, we're approaching 1,500 cars, you know, to come to these shows. And I've had awards since the first one. And like our awards at the first one, a buddy that I've known all through school, CJ, he's a killer fabricator and he does these things just as a hobby. And he's like, man, he goes, I'll do your trophies for you. And I mean, I think still to this day, they've probably been the best trophies.
It was the first year
because they're all the years that I've been doing this in the awards. They've all been handmade stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
You know, and like shows, they'll go out and you know they'll go to the local trophy places and stuff and get some.
Yeah, get a little cup with a car on it.
Yeah, but these are all like used parts and you know engine parts, failure, you know, engines and stuff like that with broken pieces. And like we've literally had like a whole turbo as an award. And like you know what he would do is he would you know use I can't think of what they're called, but they're a bunch of metal fabrication and like metal, and he'd pinstripe them and like all kinds of shit and paint them.
Oh wow.
And you know now what we're doing is, I mean, it's still all handmade stuff, but it's like laser burnt like plaques that are like coated and everything. I mean, they're really sharp.
Yeah.
And you know, people love the awards. You know, they come for it. I mean, we don't have a ton of them.
How many awards do you guys do, if you don't mind?
I think we did like, what was it, 15 or so?
Sounds like a good amount for the amount of cars that you have showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about for our first event, we're going to have like one. I mean, car of the night. Like,
car of the night, bike of the night.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like something simple. But we're actually, our sponsor, Trey from Why Not Solutions, she's making them out of wood. Because we wanted it to be something different where you're like, oh, I remember where I got that. You know what I mean? But 15 of them, it sounds like you've had some pretty interesting types of awards. Do you know, like, what are some of the more fun ones that you guys do, or different categories?
The one it's still, I think, my favorite trophy to this day. Me and my buddy Josh, he's down in Florida now, and I've been trying to get him back up here. He moved to Florida a couple of years ago, and he's finally coming back up, but he's not coming back up on the car show weekend.
Oh, are you talking about, gosh, you're talking about my buddy. I know it. From Buckeye?
Josh Culver. He's from Brunswick.
Yeah. From Josh. I was about to say, that would have been funny. Small world.
Yeah, and me and him made a trophy, and it had a dirt bike rotor, like a front brake rotor on it. And then we put a legit Harley 5-inch headlight in the middle of it. And if you hook a battery up to it, it works.
That's awesome.
And it was awesome because it had the Harley insignia in the middle of it and everything. I don't even think we used it for the best bike. We might have. But yeah, I mean, we've had everything from, you know, best of show, best GM, best Pontiac, best Mopar, best truck. I mean, all kinds of stuff, but they're all handmade trophies.
Do you guys have votes for them, or do you guys pick them yourselves? How do you guys do that?
So it's kind of different every year. A friend of mine, he does actual like judging for like the Camaro shows, and he's well known and as a judge at these places. And I have him go through and pick it up, you know, and judge it. So it's not, you know, hey, you know, you're picking your people. I'm like,
right.
No, I'm not. I mean, it's a judge that knows what he's talking about.
Gotcha.
And, you know, he's not pointed in the direction of the best build is going to get it, the, you know, the most money type thing. It's what he thinks is going to deserve it. And it keeps it fair for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, you know, you got $500,000 builds coming to these things. They may not win, you know?
Yeah, because they probably win plenty, right?
Yeah. Of course.
It's fun to, like, the guy that, I mean, you know, we talked about my buddy in Burbank. You know, God, I can't remember what year that Chevy truck was, 60s maybe, but he built it working at Wendy's through high school, right? Like, where like your $50 weekly check 20 years ago went towards a new part, you know? And we just talk about like that was back in the heyday. Like no matter what kind of car you had, the thing to do when you were like 16 years old was fill it with subwoofers.
Exactly.
You take
Andrew seems like the one that had a bunch of subs under the back of his seat.
My first truck was a Ranger. I had 2 12s in the back.
Of course, dude. And it just rattled the windows, and you just drove around the block like just blaring it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those good old days.
That's
Parked in the Walmart parking lot for your Friday night car show with all the other teenagers. Yeah,
Taco Bell at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh man, good days. But yeah, that's exciting, and it sounds like it's a whole lot of fun. So when you start to come into this, you get Andrew to help you. What was your first seeing behind the scenes last year? What was your first response to like what all happens?
There's a lot of early morning. Like Jeff's there at 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, dude, shit, show don't start till 3 o'clock. Why the fuck are we all the way up here?
Oh wow, really?
And but Jeff's got tape things off. He's got to put tents up. He's got to make sure there's power to the music truck. Make sure the porta potties are in the right spot because they just drop them off wherever.
Yeah, we've had to drag them and do all kinds of backyard redneck stuff to move them across the parking lot.
Well, I imagine too, you got people coming up from all over. They're probably starting to show up at 8 o'clock. At least some are with trailers and stuff like that. Because
there's a couple of groups of cars, car clubs around here, and they're pretty loyal to their local cruises. And I mean, they show up 10, 15 deep at a time, 3-4 hours before the event even starts.
Yeah, of course.
That's like I was saying. I had people camping out the night before. They set their trailer up and they have their car out already. They got their chairs on a little fire pit,
ready to go.
And I mean, I don't care.
Yeah,
do your thing.
Yeah.
But
if anything, it just kind of makes it more like, wow, what's going on? There's already people in line over there. Like, shoot.
And when I had the show going, because I switched time frames once already. So it started at 11 in the morning before, and now it starts at 3. And starting at 3 kind of gives us a better idea of the weather, what it's going to do. But even at 11 o'clock, I mean, there were guys showing up at 8:30. I'm sure. Like, where can I park? Can I park here? I'm like, bro, the whole parking lot's open. You can go park wherever you want, But yeah, like he was saying, I mean, we're there super early.
So, it's funny because you mentioned starts at 3. Mm-hmm. Ours, we're doing at 5 o'clock. It's Friday night or Saturday night. When you went from 11 to 3, did that make any difference at all? One way or the other? It was bigger.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
because I always think of car shows early in the morning, like they're like 8, 9 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday or Sunday. Obviously, the one on Laurel Avenue. I don't know. Do you know the story behind that one about how it got shut down and then it came back somehow?
Yeah, the owner, was the management or Big Lots or something like that?
I don't know. I don't know. That's why I'm asking you.
They put a fence up.
All kinds of weird shit happened. I was like, that car show had been going on like for years.
It's been going on even since I was a kid when it was Carney's.
Yeah, on was it Sunday nights? I think
Saturday
every Saturday night.
Because it was at Carney's for a while. I mean, I was young. But then it moved from Carney's to Kmart when it was Kmart was on 303. And then they had Ponderosa was there. And I'm like, where the hell is a Ponderosa anymore?
Yeah,
It's been around a long time. And then, you have management trying to kick all these cruisers out that have been loyal for 30 some years. Bro, that's not going to happen. It's not.
I know it got shut down for I don't know how long.
I think it was a good year.
Was it?
Yeah.
And then Best Buy's out of there now, so I'm assuming they were kind of the big part of holding that up.
So like they even hated when like they'd go in to just use the restroom. Like they're just going to the restroom. Yeah, you got Mr. Hero and Fat Bob over there that love the show, but not everybody can you get a lot of older people, they can't walk across the parking lot to Fat Bob's and go. When Big Lots is right there, and they're like, oh, well, if you gotta go to the bathroom, you gotta buy something.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, dude.
Come on. And then you put a fence up around the whole parking lot, and then the cruisers are just gonna park around it.
Yeah.
And then eventually they're gonna pull it down, which they did.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. But a guy just hooked a chain up to it and to his truck and just pulled the whole thing down.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Gotta love it.
Yeah, but stuff like that, like again, the local cruise-ins that have been around for so long, they're dying down, unfortunately, because a lot of the older cruisers, they're either sold their cars off or they're not here anymore.
Right.
And that's kind of where, we want to push this show is everyone knows about it.
Yeah, it's there forever.
Hey, in July, we're going to be at the Medina show.
Yeah.
And it's sad to see these local cruise-ins going away because those are the ones that I was at when I was a kid.
Sure.
You know, even, you know, when Brunswick was at Carney's. Carney's was known in the hot rodding magazines for being the best cruise-in in Ohio.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You know, it's been around a long time.
So you take the last year was kind of like puppy dog effect. It was like you're the junior co-host. You're kind of just learning the ropes. Was there a part of it that was more overwhelming than others, like as far as the prep and getting ready? Did you take part in the pre-show, or was it just the running the show that you kind of?
Well, I got the banner,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's pretty much it. Jeff did it all. He already had it done.
Gotcha.
It was done. He's like, no, just see you at the show.
Yeah, just
Sir.
bring your banner. Let's go. So yeah, I mean,
Bring your banner.
So I mean, he's been helping a lot in this aspect for this year for sure.
Well, I was gonna say, so this year, I don't know if everybody knows or not, but are you sharing that what's happening at the end of the
I did, yeah. You know, it's to the point now where it's like now I'm getting phone calls and text messages every day of the show and, you know, what's going on. And they're like, you know, why are you stopping? You know, why are you doing this? Well, you know, there's another business I want to start too eventually. And, you know, maybe he'll be the main host from now on and I help him where he needs it. So
Gotcha. So the idea is that you're going to kind of take over for next year. So this year you got a bigger role. Are you like
Ish. I'm running the Facebook page and
okay.
controlling the scam people so people
which is
don't
crazy.
lose out money because they're everywhere.
So what are you talking about? Spam or scams?
Well, you know, like when you have a Facebook event page and then you get all the fake pages posting, oh, we're still looking for vendors. And
they're
everything like
collecting
that.
money off of
They're
it.
collecting money from people that want to be vendors. So like last year, I had a couple vendors show up. I didn't even know. I've never talked to them before.
Oh, wow.
And they're like, yeah, we paid a vendor spot to come in here. I was like, you didn't pay me? Because anyone that wants to be a vendor will go directly to me.
Right.
And they're like, oh, well, you know, and they've showed me and him the transactions. And these people on Facebook are making it like to the point where it's it's kind of hard to tell the difference.
Of course.
But yeah, I mean,
I can only imagine nowadays with AI, like
AI can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You know, and I felt bad. I'm like, well, you weren't paid me at a vendor, you know, do your thing kind of deal.
Right.
And now since then, I mean, they've been with us again.
Yeah.
You know, ever since now that they know. But yeah, I mean, he tracks all the spam posts every day.
Yeah. Do you allow people to freely post in the event?
No.
No. So it has to be approved by a host.
Me
or
and
whatever.
Jeff can. I have to approve everything.
Gotcha.
And then
So you're just seeing stuff come through and all the time.
All
I can
day.
imagine.
And
Very much.
I didn't do that beforehand.
Yeah.
So it's partially my fault. But yeah, I mean, it happened. I mean, there's probably 30, 40 posts right now if we went on our phones about people trying to scam shit.
Wow.
Yeah. And he's doing a good job of keeping it on the low. Because
Yeah.
again, I mean, only me and him can post or he can approve it.
Well, I was going to
So-
say, I think I saw today, where is it at? Is it 1,400 people have responded to being interested or going. So, I mean, that's just the ones that, you know, said they're going to do it on Facebook. And you still have, what, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
2 weeks before the show. So who knows? Do you guys, okay. Oh, so you guys cash only. So you guys don't collect ahead of time. You don't collect until.
And
they
that's
go.
where they get it too, with some like pre-registration. Like doing it our way is going to prevent somebody from getting spammed out, because they're going to be like, they're going to show up at the entrance and be like, oh yeah, I pre-registered.
Yeah.
We've never had pre-registration.
Wow.
And it scares me to do that because people, you know, they get scammed out. It's so easy to do it nowadays.
Yeah, I think that, you know, anything that you're doing pre-registration or I mean, you almost have to like sell event tickets, and then you have to worry about somebody spamming it with a different
Right.
event that's the same. I'm sure there's another Medina Car Show out there, event page or something of that nature that's, you know, out there already. So
I think after the COVID year, I actually started a Facebook group, and there's probably like, I don't know, probably like 10, 15,000 people in it.
wow.
And I mean, people will, you know, flood it with their car show flyers,
course.
which is fine. And I was trying to get it to where you know it's the only one,
Right.
and try to get news and stuff out there. But now it's just kind of spiraled.
Yeah, I mean, anytime that you have a group that unless you're going to monitor Facebook full time. I'll give these creators and stuff that are out there credit, man. Whenever you try to win the social media game, like you think, oh, I just post stuff and make videos. And it's like, fuck, dude, hours of editing for a 30-second short. And like, that's only the ones that you see that they keep up because they succeeded. Like, it doesn't include
I couldn't even only imagine trying to get like what you do, even just with the podcast.
Dude, it's exhausting, man. And then you're working a full-time job on top of it, you know? Obviously, that we hope for the idea that, you know, it can generate revenue from this one point in time that allows me to just do this full-time. But like, there's no promises of that right now. It's just a passion and a hobby project, you know?
Right. And that's kind of how it was with the car show. It's
you end up spending more money to keep it going than you do and you actually bring it.
Yeah, it's huge.
Like we had a couple of people that actually paid for some stuff and threw some money our way for different things. And I'm like, and somebody was like, oh, that's awesome. You're starting to make money. I'm like, bro.
Yeah.
That's like 1% of what's already been spent.
Some people's Facebook checks.
Yeah.
You know, like my one buddy, he in Michigan, he runs a Facebook page. It's called Blowing Money Mafia. And he started it around this 67 Nova that he built. And I think he showed me a check and it was like $4.
Yeah, I was gonna
for like a month thing. And he's like, yeah, these people think we make a ton of money. I mean, now he's up to like 200,000 followers.
Yeah, now he's probably generating some money. But yeah, there's been times where we've had a video get like 10,000 or 15,000 views on Facebook, and it's like, congratulations, you made $3.83. And then it gets deposited in my bank, and I'm like, I get excited because I see like a Meta invoice for a deposit, and I'm like, $3? What? Yeah. But you know, hey, every dollar helps.
Yeah, you'll get there.
I remember we did our first TikTok live and we got like 63 cents or something like that.
We can't all be like Rogan off day one.
Oh, you know? Yeah. But you know what? That's part of the fun too. You know, like I said, with this new sponsorship and partnership with the Common Grounds in Medina, like it gives us a space for not only for us to build our own kind of YouTube, our studio, but then also to put on events. Like the one August 1st, and they're not going to all be the same. Like car bike ride-ins, that's just part of the allure to it. You know, we're not charging for vendors. I don't know if you charged for vendors right off front or not, but the idea was the more that we get in, the merrier. We don't have to start charging until there's no space.
Yeah, we did the first couple years. You know, we would charge for the vendor spots, but now we get so many of them anymore. It's just like, well, you know, if you want to be a vendor, come be a vendor and just set up your stuff.
Yeah.
If you want to donate to the show or the charities, fine.
Yeah, I'd rather them come up, like, instead of paying a vendor, I'd rather them put $50 worth of cool shit or $100 worth of cool shit in a basket. Do your own raffle. Like, you know, we talked about like the gym and stuff that are talking about being, I was like, dude, just do like a family push-up contest or something. Like the family that does the most push-ups or whatever wins a month subscription, whatever. Just, I'd rather that go where the money go and just make the event start to be a thing where like once a month, you know, this is going to go on and whatnot. So, so this is the 10th year. You guys are expecting obviously more cars than last year?
I mean, as long as the weather cooperates, I think so.
I think you're supposed to see 90 degrees and sunny on that day.
Yeah, so far, 90 is going to be probably the hottest one, but
might be a little much.
Yeah. But it's funny because my wife, she runs the front, so like the entrance, so she'll give like the registration cards out and stuff like that. And last year, I mean, I think she was as red as the Red Bull on the can. I mean, she looked like a freaking lobster, and she was burnt for like weeks. And she goes, I am burning. And I mean, you're out. I mean, there's shade, but there's not like
you need to get one of those vendors that like comes and sets up like a huge like 4 foot above ground pool and then has like a little bar around it or something so that people could just go up to the
like
sit in the pool.
Well, Ryobi's got that fan, the fan that goes on the 5-gallon buckets.
Dude, those things are insane. My buddy's got the smaller one that he sets up. He just takes it everywhere when his kids are there in the summer. He just sets it in front of his kids. I was like, I need to get that thing set up. Yeah.
Blows a bunch of mist on it. Yeah. If it's 90 degrees this year, it's going to be hot, which is good. So, you know,
have you ever had to cancel or move because of weather?
I had to call one. And the year that I called it, I had people messaging me for refunds, and I'm like, I can't control the weather. You know it's going to rain. Either you're going to come here or not. And I think I had to cancel it as like noon or 1 o'clock
at a 3 o'clock start time.
This was when it was at 11.
Oh, so you canceled it like an hour into the day.
Yeah, and it poured. And I mean, it was awful. And I don't think I've had to call one since. But you know, I think we had a little bit of rain last year towards the end of the show. So people were, you know, dipping out. But yeah, I only had to call one. So I hope I don't have to do it again. But yeah, that's another reason to start time for 3, you know, because if it looks like it's going to rain at 1:00, we still got time.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And, you know, with how big it's been getting, you know, and he knows just as many people as I know, you know, I think it's going to be huge.
Well, that's exciting, man. Are you pretty excited to kind of take over? Like, do you have any, what changes are you going to make? Are you just going to keep running the status quo? Do you have some big ideas?
Anything.
No changes, no big ideas.
I'm going to take over that second lot that's attached to.
Oh, is that right?
There's another building on the other side.
Yeah.
That's not on the map. I'm going to take over.
Oh,
that
to the right
lot.
here?
Yep.
I have kind of slipped it under the table with Gino. Said, "Hey, if we need to put more parking, let's do it." And he's like, "We'll talk." So I mean, we could have 3,000 cars at this thing sooner or later.
That's insane. But I mean, it just makes for an even better time, right? I mean, it looks like I see some events that you're going to be competing with, the Wadsworth Community Yard Sale 2026, you know, but other than that, I think Uncle Sam Jam Custom Vintage Bike Show, little bit, but they could ride over afterwards.
Exactly. It starts at 11.
Yeah, so that was the other thing I was going to ask you. Do you work with other shows and things like that? Do you guys bounce off each other? Do you work with these car clubs? Did it take you time to kind of establish yourself as like, you know, a trusted car show, I guess you would say?
I would think so.
Yeah.
You know, like the first couple years, I mean, I know I was fighting the big Mopar car show at Norwalk or Jogway 42 or something. And, you know, I think they switched the schedule, I think, to September. I don't even know if they do it anymore. But there was a couple shows that were like, oh, well, shit, like this might hurt our show a little bit, but it's never once.
That's awesome.
And it's cool because, you know, you get some people that host shows are like, hey, you know, are you doing your car show again this year kind of thing? You know, what date? And then they'll hit me up and be like, all right, I won't do mine on that. You know, I'll move it. Because what I try to do is I try to keep it the same weekend. It's the third weekend.
Yep.
Third weekend in July. And third weekend in July, and it's either the 18th or then it bounces to the 23rd, to the 25th,
right,
and back. So it's always the same weekend. And but now it's to the point where it's like, you know, the schedule's the schedule,
right?
You know, and I got, you know, one of my best friends. He keeps bitching and moaning at me because he's got drill every time my show's on his drill weekend. I honestly think I think he's only made it to 2.
Dang.
He made it to my first one and then the COVID one.
Of course.
And that was it.
Well, let's talk. We talked about how the show started, but how did your passion for cars in general show? You talked about like going to stuff with your parents. Did you guys have like collector cars or anything like that growing up?
So I mean, I was practically born into it.
Okay.
When I was born, you know, my dad's had some race cars and stuff when I was a kid. And, I mean, there's a picture of me. I was, you know, maybe 8 months old next to my dad's 69 Camaro when I was a kid. My mom's holding me and, you know, she's got her big froey hair and big thick glasses and stuff, but it's been in my blood ever since.
That's awesome.
You know, going to the racetracks with my dad and my you know, my parents and all his friends, and, you know, sitting around the garage and, you know, toying with my dad on his cars for years. And he kind of fueled it, you know, and, you know, with him hosting some shows, you know, when I was a kid growing up, and like he used to host some, you know, again, Swenson's up in Fairlawn. He used to do, I think it was like a weekly thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we had cruises over there, and then he would do some at like Craftsman Park. I don't even know where the hell that's at anymore. I just know the name of it. But he would fill this park up, and I mean, there'd be, you know, a couple hundred cars there for him. And just since then, you know, I was like, you know what? My dad's always done it. And then with my buddy Rob, he's like, dude, let's do a show. I was like, shit, let's try it.
So do you have your own class? You guys both showed up in pickup trucks. So do you guys have your own cars or your own hobbies that you fork a bunch of money into?
Yeah. And I'm not allowed to touch any of mine until my wife's car's done. So.
Oh, so you've got a couple in the household. So
yeah.
What are your cars that you finished first, and then what are you working on for the wife?
I got a 68 Nova, and then I got a 99 Dakota RT that I'm gonna be doing eventually.
Okay.
And then me and my dad, we've been toying. Yeah, we've been toying with his cars since I was young, but he's got a 65 Chevelle now. So that's his final car he's getting ready to do. But my wife's got a 2003 Mach 1 that I bought for her.
Sweet.
Kind of like an early birthday present a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And ran into some issues with it. And a local performance guy whose name probably shouldn't be mentioned because a lot of people will be still hunting his ass down. But he broke it and did a bunch of shit he shouldn't have to it. And yeah, I'm hurting with that one.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we're doing the motor and stuff on her car and just a whole bunch of shit getting her car done for her. So
That's awesome.
Yeah. Other than that, and then whatever car I get after that.
So what's your Eleanor? What's your dream car that you would love to eventually build or have thought about?
Honestly, my wife hates them, and it fuels me even more to get one. But like a backdraft Cobra or something like that, like a 65, Cobra 427 car. That's my all-time car right there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. What about you? What do you got? What are you showing up at the show with this year?
My truck.
My truck.
I spend all my money on my kids and my guns. And I deleted my truck, so I put money into the truck.
Fair enough.
It's a nice truck.
Yeah, it's the Dodge you pulled up in, right?
Yeah.
Right? Ram?
Yeah. 2,500. It's not.
Hey.
It is what it is.
Well, that's the thing is he shows up in his truck and he's got his business decal on it.
Yeah.
So it's automatically going into, he's promoting his business. So
it's the only thing you could do anymore. And then, so what is your full-time job?
Right now I work at Toyota.
Okay.
So, but yeah, and then, with the business future, I want to do like storage with, muscle cars and exotic car storage. So,
I mean, I'm surprised there's not more of that. I
I
mean,
am
maybe
too.
there is, but talk about Medina, like on 42, where they built that whole area to be basically like motorhome and truck storage. There's not really, and with car storage, there's so much crazy stuff out there. Like, you guys know Sandridge salads?
No.
Oh, come on. Really?
What is
You never
that?
seen that Sandridge?
No, Sandridge. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. The factory here, they make potato
Yeah.
salad and shit like that.
Oh, okay.
So I went to
thought you were
school-
talking some like
No,
salad shop
no.
around here. Or
So
something.
the factory is in Medina where they make all this shit. But I went to school with the Sandridges, and their grandfather, who started the company from his basement, like the whole like old school story where he started making salads in his basement type shit. He had one of those garages where you pulled a car in and it like moved it up the levels and shit. This was like in 1998 when I was like a junior in high school and mowing lawns, and his was one of the accounts. But it's like, I'm surprised there's not stuff, especially in Ohio, where like there's plenty of classic cars, and I feel like there's less and less garages and things to put them in anymore. Like that. So that seems like an idea that'll take off.
Yeah, and I think the last 2 years I've just been kind of building it in my head, and that's the thing of kind of stepping away from the car show a little bit is, I just got to try to focus on that. And my wife's all for it, and the people I've talked to about it, they're 100% supportive of it, and they're like, dude, you need to do it. And
Yeah.
I'm like, my passion for the cars, I can't afford all the cars I want, for one.
But at least you can look at them that way.
Yeah, I can look at them, and make money off of them.
Yeah.
But it's just a passion, and so we got a big plan in motion to start that business, and again, knowing all these people with the car show kind of will help it out a little bit.
Yeah, I would think so. You mentioned, you started to talk about it a little bit earlier, but we were talking about like what's changed as far as, culture and things like that go. You mentioned going to the racetrack and stuff like that with your dad, which is like, I feel like how old are you?
35.
Yeah, I'm 43. So like, I feel like that Generation X.
I had to think for a second.
Yeah, right. Like how
Jeez.
old am I now? I got to calculate the dates. But I feel like we were fortunate enough to where when we were kids, like our parents might have complained that stuff was expensive, but you could go like to the local like Wayne County Speedway or to a circle track and get in for like $8 on a Saturday night and watch races. Now, Mansfield Speedway just opened up there, and I heard that it's as much as $30 or $40 a night to go there and watch motocross like a couple weekends ago. And it's like, I feel bad for this generation of kids because not all of them are going to, you could have went and worked a couple hours on a Friday night at Wendy's and had enough money to pay for the track the next day and go with your friends and buy a $2 hot dog or burger that's now $8 or $10. It's crazy to think like how much harder it is to have genuine fun versus how easy it is for just to sit in front of your iPhone and pay $2.99 a month for your game or whatever that you're addicted to playing.
Yeah, and
How do you think? How do you? I was just say, how do you think that's affected the kind of the car
I think
culture?
I think it's affecting it in a huge way. I mean, anymore you can just go to the dealership and pay $400-$500 a month for a car that's got 500 horse.
Yeah,
Back when
That's true.
when I was driving, like I think I paid $4,500. I had a 95 Z28 that I, put a shit ton of money in, but it was affordable. And now, I mean, to even put a blower on a car or a Pro Charger or something, there's 15 grand.
yeah,
Not everybody can do it. And again, that's entries into shows like this. Like, we go to Supercross all the time for, Detroit or Indy. And I mean, it's $300 a
It's
weekend just
insane.
for us three.
Well, that's like my. I didn't go to the one in Cleveland, thank goodness, because I would have been pissed. Lawrence wasn't there, Deegan wasn't there.
And it was raining. It was cold.
Yeah, it was just a
miserable.
crappy weekend for it. But my buddy went and he's like, dude, I think I spent $300 buying my kid like a little dirt bike and like 2 sweatshirts or something like that. After I spent $300 just to get in and sit there all day in the fucking rain. And it's just like, man, these events just get it's a vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and everyone's like, why don't you charge more? Why should I?
right.
Yeah, it goes to charities, but why should I charge more? It's been $10 since the second one. Why? It's affordable. And then you look at some comments on Facebook, they're like, I would never pay $20 to go to a car show. I wouldn't charge that.
Right.
Because a lot of people can't afford $20 for, a couple hours.
Right.
And again, you go to these events, and I mean, you're spending probably $500 just in travel money if you really want to go to something really bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's been putting a huge damper on everything because, these guys will go to these free cars and coffee events and then it's just flooded with people.
Yeah.
Because they don't have money to go to a show that's actually, organized.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're out there sliding around and doing donuts and shit in the intersection, causing a bunch of chaos because anybody can come in.
Right.
You got to look at it like that too. Like if you're charging a little bit to get in, it keeps some of the riffraff out. And, it's way different than it was 10, 15 years ago. And it sucks to see sometimes, but.
Yeah. And I didn't even think about it from the aspect of like building a car,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because, I always make the joke, my first car, my brother sold it to me. It was an 86 Dodge Charger that I bought for like $20, and he was 18 and I was 15 or 14. $20, a case of Dr. Pepper and a pound of roast beef because he was moving into his own place, right? He didn't care. I don't think I ever gave him the roast beef, but he definitely got the case of Dr. Pepper. But I didn't spend anything to get that thing running. Like, and then junkyards, like you could go to a junkyard, dig through stuff for hours and spend like $50 getting some parts and stuff like that.
And it was
then go
fun.
back. Yeah. It made it part of the journey. It's funny. I told you something the other day, my wife, twice her Subaru Legacy got totaled. The first time she hit a deer, I spent like $400 on going on car parts and then finding like a replacement bumper, moonroof, fender that was already pre-painted the same color and just plugged them back in and kept it going. Salvage rebuild. Then I totaled it because a street sweeper did a U-turn on the highway and fucking wiped out the front end again. Fucking $300, built it back up. But like, I would have never known to do that if I didn't grow up like that as a kid.
Right.
Now, like most people would be like, oh, it's totaled, it's gone, let it go. That car probably paid us like $15,000-$16,000 being totaled twice.
Dude, how much was it to delete your truck?
Oh my God. What year is it?
2020.
Yeah.
So if you would have taken it to the shop, it's like low end $8,000.
Yeah.
Dude, just
I spent $2,600.
Buying
did
the
it
kit.
myself.
Buying the kit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I did intercooler pipes and throttle delete and grid heater delete. Like I just did already in there. Got half of it off of it. Might as well do the rest of it.
Right.
and what, over 15 years ago, I mean, you could just do it for a couple $100.
Well, yeah, it's like as soon as they found out that everybody was going to do that, they made it so damn expensive.
Yeah, and that's
Even if you go back to, you know, like we talked about my first truck, first diesel I bought was that 06.5. That was before all that stuff came out. And I think mid 07 is when the emissions came out. And I mean, it made the truck $9,000 more right off the rip. So you made it more expensive to buy the truck. And then you also made it, you know, expensive to delete the truck later. At that point in time, you could literally just straight pipe it and fucking be done. Now,
to get on there with a couple buddies with a sawzall and just cut
it was. I remember idling outside the gas station with my straight pipe Duramax. It sounded like a freaking jet airplane was idling in the you hear that turbo whining. But yeah, now it's like you said, $2,800, $3,000 in parts, and if you want to have a shop do it, and then your warranty's blown, right? So you want to wait till the warranty's.
Got a 3,000-mile warranty, so
you're good. Oh, look! I mean, look how much it is just to get into Cedar Point.
Oh, dude, crazy, right? It's well, look how much it is to get an oil change. You're at a Toyota dealership. What are you guys at? $130, $140 an hour right now? $177 an hour. That's insane.
So for like just a regular synthetic oil change, it's $177 after tax, and then our door rate is $200 an hour.
Wow. Yeah, dude. It's just gotten to the point where things are. But you know what? Once again, you got to pay higher wages, right?
Exactly.
Your top tech used to be $22, $24 an hour. Now he's $50 an hour for.
Yeah, I mean, some of our technicians, I mean, they're $55 an hour.
Yeah,
and I mean, they're making good money, but like it might be a little bit different with like Ford versus Toyota, because Toyota, I mean, they'll just drop money. They don't care.
Yeah, I tell you. I mean, because you're not doing it as often.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's funny. So before I bought this, I had a 17 Tundra, and had 190,000 miles on it. The only thing I replaced on it other than brakes and tires was the alternator, and that's because with 2,000 miles, and I just put a fresh 6-inch lift on it, I thought it'd be a good idea to go to Yankee Lake and drive through like 5-foot puddles with it. And Toyota's brilliant idea was to put the alternator right in the front, in the lower end. So like driving home is like, oh, check engine light. Oh, low charge. That's done. Smoked. And then my buddy got it covered under warranty at Toyota, and they came in and decided that was the alternator they wanted to pull apart and see why it wouldn't work. And despite the fact of 3 hours of power washing it, hoping it would be good, it like opened up on the bench in front of the Toyota rep, and it was like just all kinds of shit came out of it,
flowing everywhere.
Yeah, that truck was blacklisted at the Toyota dealership moving forward. But yeah, I mean, you didn't need anything. No. That thing that I didn't need tie rods. None of that stuff ever went on that truck, even at almost 200,000 miles.
They're coming in our place with, you know, a freaking Prius with 290,000 miles on it, and nothing is wrong with it.
Nothing. They probably did brakes twice.
Right. Yeah, that's it.
290,000 out. We're due for our third set of brakes.
They're complaining that they need a cabin filter. And I'm like, well, it's just routine. Again, you got, you know, almost 300,000 miles on these cars. Again, you have to pay it, like you said, one time.
Right.
Right. And a lot of these people that are going to these events and stuff, sometimes it's a one-time pay thing and done, because they say, oh, I want to go. I did it.
Yeah.
You know, a $300 weekend for a Supercross is, I mean, that's a lot of money.
Yeah. And you could be very disappointed too at the event. Like I said, Deegan and Lawrence not even there. Like, I mean, that kind of just defeats the whole purpose of going to see Supercross.
Yeah, exactly. And like Matt Tift, he's a local guy.
Yeah.
You know, he went to my high school, and yeah, sure, I'm going to support the shit out of your track, you know, and $30 is $30, but I'm going to see some badass shit. And I know I'm going to.
Yeah. I haven't been up there. They opened up the beginning of this year down there.
Yeah. A couple months ago.
And I know that was like we actually tried talking to him a couple of times to get him on to when he was first starting to build that, but obviously it was extremely time consuming. But
he'll come on.
Yeah, I'd love to hear his like process of like what made him decide that track, and how was it more than he thought when he bit off that.
I don't know. I mean, it'd be interesting to kind of hear what he says.
Yeah, because they built that thing from the ground up basically, which is cool. There's just not a whole lot of speedways and stuff like that around to go see those events.
Now he needs to go rescue Barberton.
Yeah, dude. Well, I mean, look at it's not the same anymore. And that's the other thing too. Like lawsuits have ruined a lot of that stuff too, right?
Exactly.
Like, Medina Truck Show at the fair. My buddy is Jared Myers. I don't know if you guys remember. God, it's probably been 15 years ago. Jumped the last jump, truck's frame snapped, had to be carted out, broke his back, paralyzed from the neck down. Well, that changed
This was at the fair?
Yeah.
They're in a
So-
rough truck, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. So that changed rough truck forever at the fair. Like all of a sudden the jumps are now like a foot high. They make it so that you can't really pick up that much speed because
That's,
people were just. I mean,
Do they like prep these trucks? But I don't know. I've only
So,
rough
And
truck
what do
is
they
literally just about anybody. At this point in time, when Jared broke his back, it was like, hey, you showed up with the truck, you wanted to run it across a motocross track. Like this was the place to do it. Like it was like your friend's backyard.
that was like the best part. The long jump and
Yeah, the last jump, they would just freaking send
For
it. And if they did, like not many, I mean, a lot of people some people had like some Jeep
Pro-mod.
Cherokees that were built up with some suspension
Yeah.
kits and stuff. But for the most part, I mean, Jared at that point in time was probably like a 20-year-old, 18-year-old kid that had like a 1985 Silverado and that thing just buckled quicker than shit. And unfortunately, changed his life forever. But things like that have happened over time change these events too.
Mhm.
And then that adds to why the costs go up on tickets. Well, insurance has gone up because people are
Sure.
freaking insane. It's just hard to have good, cheap, clean fun anymore without
Yeah,
somebody
you're
getting
not
their hands
wrong.
in the pockets. So for $10 for somebody to come up and the spectators I see, they don't have to pay anything to get in.
No,
So
I don't know. They've
to
always
go
been free.
spend the weekend just checking out cars and seeing all the different stuff and hopefully people kind of get an appreciation for that because it's a dying breed. My wife and I always laugh. We live here in Medina, and we have some high school kids that were growing up the street from us here.
Mhm.
And I remember when you showed up at your friends' parties back in the day, it was like windows taped up so they didn't leak. People were like picking up a Chevy Cavalier and moving it so you couldn't get out or
Yeah.
whatever. I'm looking at like Mercedes and Jeep Wranglers, like 2025 Jeep Wrangler Rubicons that are like $80,000. I'm like, what? Who is buying these kids this? Like my daughter, when she needed a car and she moved it back in from her mom's, like she got a 180,000 mile 2014 Kia Optima SX. I thought it was cool. It had a leather panoramic roof and a turbo, but like all her friends are driving like 3-year-old 10,000 mile cars. I'm like, what is going on?
It's like in school, I mean, like we had buddies, like my one buddy, he bought this, he's had a couple Civics because Civics are cheap. Probably paid like $500 for it, 300 some thousand miles on it. And I mean, you go and wreck it one morning on the way to school, and then the next day you're buying another one for $1,000. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what I tell my son. And I'm like, look, you're not getting some kind of bougie car like this, bro. Like you're going to start where we started. Yeah, we're going to help you out, but you're going to start where we started so you understand. And you got to appreciate the stuff. And again, like you said, I mean, I've seen these younger kids driving around in these $60,000 Mercedes.
Insane.
For what?
For why?
Why?
What are you teaching that 16-year-old kid who's probably going to bump it into another car and then you just get it fixed for him,
Right.
Yeah.
See, like my Blazer I had in school, I paid $400 for it. Me and a couple buddies, I couldn't afford to do window tint. So what did I do? I took black spray paint and I just painted the doors behind me, And it didn't look bad from the outside, but on the inside it looked like shit.
Yeah.
But I did it. I paid a couple bucks for a spray paint can and I did it myself.
That's
But,
hilarious.
yeah.
But that kind of just, I don't know. It was just something about that. Like when you did that stuff to your own car, like we had
Right.
kids of school that, you had the one or two guys that had a nice car. Like I remember, I want to say, was 2000, the 30th anniversary maybe of the Camaro Z?
2002.
Was it 2002?
2002 was the 35th anniversary.
Maybe it was a 97 then. I don't remember. Either ways, I remember when somebody got a brand new Camaro Z28 and it was Sandridge actually.
Mm-hmm.
And he also had a race car, which was like a Trans Am that was like the newest Trans Am. Meanwhile, my buddy Randy, he raced circle track and his thing was held together with like duct tape. Like every week, his whole $200 paycheck was going into like used parts to keep this thing on the ground,
It's an older 84 Monte Carlo.
Yeah, dude. But so you had the haves and the have nots, but I felt like the things that Randy probably learned building that car versus having one built for him
Right.
is just like a whole different level of that kids today just are not seeing. Like you don't see jalapenos in the parking
No.
lot anymore and just beat up cars that,
They're all rolling around in these Focus STs.
Yeah, it's like, man, you're missing out on the half of the fun, dude. It was like an old beat up pickup truck where like one side had a busted leaf spring, so when you had too many buddies in the back seat, it leaned, Or like you talked about, my buddy had an S10. We do donuts in the parking lot and at Taco Bell, and I remember the one Taco Bell in Medina had like that random like stuff divider that we got stuck on in the middle of the night. But he called that thing Goldie because he got a junkyard fender on a red S10. It was a gold fender that he put on that thing.
Exactly.
Drove it for 2 years, didn't have to have it repainted or nothing. But it's like that's like character building.
They don't understand the beater cars that we had when we were kids.
Yeah, it's like beater cars don't exist anymore.
Yeah. Like I had a friend. He rolled he had a Ranger, like 97 Ranger, like extended cab, green. I'll never forget it because he had 2 of them. And he was driving down 252 and it was raining and he rolled it. And SM must have came around on him and he rolled it. Well, they got it out of the ditch and he drove it home like that. The doors were caved in and everything like that. So he's like, I'm going to use it as my, my off-road truck. So he would just take it wheeling sometimes but it ran, and then he had another one exactly like it. But they don't understand how fun it was just to beat the shit out of your stuff.
Oh my gosh. And then when you were like I'll never forget this one night. So my buddy Matt that we were talking about in Burbank, I just moved back from the military and got a house out that way and met all his buddies and stuff. And I sold cars at the Chrysler dealership that was out there in Lodi. Mm-hmm. Now it's
mechanic shop.
I think what is it now? It's one side. The Chevy dealership is now the Can-Am store, Johnny K's, and then the other one was the Chrysler store. And I think that's the ag building. But
it's like right before you got to the outlet mall.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but we had a kid who had beautiful property out of like 604 in Creston area. And Friday nights we would all go up there. Anyhow, I sold cars. So back then, my one buddy had a brand new Jeep Wrangler. It was like back then it was like $20,000 for a stick shift X package. I had my Dodge Ram that I'd bought, my Hemi, and then I can't even remember what. But anyhow, we all go back in the woods. We'd go mudding with these brand new freaking cars that we all just bought, like a bunch of idiots that were 22, 20, 19 years old. And then somebody would get stuck, and then the tie thing snaps and goes through the window of my buddy's Jeep. Well, then you all realize like, oh man, we bought these new cars and we're out here fucking them up, and now we got to pay to get them fixed. And they're like, that's stupid. Like teaches you that lesson of like, oh, now it's mine. I have to like, take better care of my shit. So yeah, I think that's like kind of missing. It's just, it's a shame. And that probably is going to start to affect these car shows and things like that. Cause eventually the old timers with the, like you said, 69 Camaro or the 65 Chevelle, like those are going to start to dwindle off.
Yeah. It's hard to, I wouldn't say it's hard to get the younger generation involved, but it's just not their thing. Well,
it's also going to be, it's getting expensive. Like, it's not like you can go, like, I mean, there was a point in time where you could go find like an old 60s Mustang and only spend like $3 to $4 grand because it was, beat up and needed some stuff. And then now it's like, doesn't matter how beat up it is, people will buy that beat up and spend top dollar on it.
Well, that's like
because there's few of them out there.
Yeah, the 69 Camaros, man, you're spending $25 grand for one that needs every piece of sheet metal in it.
That's crazy.
And they're paying it, but the guys that are paying it can afford it because you're going to spend $100,000 just in body work
to restore it. Right.
A lot of these younger kids, that's what I was saying earlier, when they can just go to the dealership and go get a Scatter or a Hellcat for $400, $500 a month.
Yeah, and have way more horsepower than that Camaro's ever gonna have.
Yeah, and it's to the point where now it's kind of repetitive with those cars, and you're seeing them everywhere.
Yep.
And unfortunately, they're coming to the shows and stuff, but you just got to understand that that's where it's all going now. Not everybody can afford to build a big block or a small block Chevy or a Mopar or anything.
And let's talk about the next hardest part of that is the actual work that goes into building those, right? There's less people working on cars. I know you know that for a fact, being at a dealership right now, especially when it comes to body work. Finding body work men, like the only thing I could guarantee you is if you find a guy that works in a body shop that was any good is he's 50 years old, smoked way too much his whole life, never wore a mask and can barely breathe. But that fucker can make any panel look brand new.
Yeah, and you can't understand what he's talking about half the time.
but you're not finding like a 25-year-old kid who's like, oh, I just want to spend the rest of my life in the body shop, like beating out sheet metal and making cool, you know what I mean? So it's like, that's coming to an end. So what does that do? That just jacks up the price for a guy who, you know, even if he's like 60 years old and he spent his, you know, oh, I spent 30 grand buying this car and now I'm going to get it fixed up and is going to get it rebuilt and da-da-da-da-da. And yeah, $100,000.
Yeah.
To have a car that still only puts out half the horsepower that a fucking Camry V6 puts out.
Yeah, and you're still spending, you know, you got it at a minimum, you know, for a decent, you know, driveline and motor and stuff, you're 15, 20 grand right there.
Yeah.
You know, and again, I mean, you know, me and my dad, we're talking about doing stuff to his Chevelle. And, you know, we're into the resto mod stuff, you know, old car, badass modern technology.
I was just going to ask you about that because literally I just watched Rogan talk about a couple of things that he's had built where it's like ABS and power steering in like a 67 GT or something like that.
Yeah. And I mean, I know Rogan's CUDA, I mean, that's probably freaking $2.5 million car at the end of the day, all the work, you know, that went into it. But, you know, you're looking at it like, you know, we're looking at doing a different frame, like aftermarket frame and engine and all this other stuff. I mean, you're 30 grand just for a frame.
Wow.
You know, and that's not even powder coated.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it comes with, you know, like we're talking like Roadster Shop or Speed Tech or stuff like that. I mean, you're at a minimum, you know, 15 to 18 grand for a bare frame. And then you add the control arms, the brakes, the rear end, and you can get all these frames with, you know, independent rears now where you can put an independent rear under a 65 GTO or, you know, and again, you're starting to get into 30 grand and you're not done. You still got to put gears, axles, you got to do, you know, brakes, you got to do
lines on all of that. I mean, just it's going to add up. Are you seeing, are there like kit cars in a sense? Like, are you seeing that at all? Especially now with like 3D printing and all that stuff. Are you starting to see like, or is that becoming a thing in the car world where people are kind of, because obviously there's less and less of these parts out there. You can buy some that are remanufactured and things like that, but.
And that's kind of where it goes into like the older, like the Cobra, like the kit cars. Like if you're like, to afford a real 65 AC Cobra, I mean, you might as well forget about it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where like Factory 5, you know, they're a big, you know, company with aftermarket stuff. Backdraft Racing, you know, they build and Superformance, they're the three big ones for like the 65, but they all come in a kit. You and I can go buy a kit for 40, 50 grand and put it all together ourselves. Or you can have Backdraft do it and spend 250, you know? So yeah, those cars are affordable in a point, but do you have 4 or 5 years that you want to spend putting something together?
Right.
And that's kind of where it goes in. Well, yeah, we're going to buy a Backdraft car, but I want it done. And then, well, I want to buy a Backdraft car because I want to put it together.
Right.
You know, I'm going to save myself $150,000.
Sure.
You know, and it's the same thing. Like, you know, he's got his detailing business. Not everybody wants to go and bust ass for 6 hours on a detail.
Nobody wants to,
you know,
bust
and
ass.
they don't want to spend the money because, you know, well, you know, I can get it done for $100 here. All right, I can vacuum it for $100.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, he does great work, you know, and again, a lot of these shops, they do great work. So am I just going to rather spend the money to have somebody do it, or am I going to do it?
Sure.
You know, I'm going to do it myself.
Right. But you got the skill too. Not everybody has that skill set. Not everybody
Yeah.
grew up on putting stuff together. And, you know, that's one of the things like, yeah, I can fumble myself. I can fumble my way through an engine or a brake job or something like that.
Sure.
But like, I'm not going to build a car. Right. So if I'm not going to build that car, one, I feel like that kind of takes away some of the nostalgia of actually doing a hot rod build or doing a classic car build. Like if you're not doing it yourself, like then you're just buying a car.
Yeah.
But at the same point in time, like somebody that just wants that nostalgia, that feeling of firing up that old hot rod and hearing that carb lope and
yeah, that's great. Spend the money.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, if that's what you want.
We were just talking about that the other day. I can't remember what we were behind. My wife was like, "What's that smell?" It's like a carburetor engine.
Yeah,
like,
it's exactly because like I'll be driving with my wife or something, just cruising. Like we'll go to the store and I look over and she's got her nose up in the air and she's smelling. I'm like, "What are you doing?" She goes, "I smell it." She goes, "I smell the gas." And
yeah,
she goes,
yeah.
I love it. You don't get that anymore.
No, dude. It's funny because my wife, I just got her a 2-stroke KTM 85 last year, right before she got pregnant. So she rode it like once. She's like, the other day we fired it up and she wanted to make sure she could start it still and everything. So she starts it up and fires it up. She's like, it smells awful. I was like, you'll learn to appreciate that smell. You don't smell that at the dirt bike track anymore. Like
No.
everybody's gone 4-stroke. Like you don't smell that lean fuel just burning your nostril hairs.
Well, you can do your truck, right? You smell your truck and shit. Yeah.
Oh yeah, now that it's deleted. Yeah. Just straight sulfur, just fucking it.
The best ever.
Just are you rolling black coal when you punch on it?
A little bit.
Yeah,
No,
a
he
little
is
bit.
because when we were coming here again, he was in front of me and I just seen fucking
Yeah.
black smoke. Everywhere.
Yeah, when you let off and push the gas, it can actually a little bit.
I remember on that 06.5, like you get the crazy Larry tune on the bully dog tuner, and that thing would just choke out anybody you were near when that thing had rolled that black.
I
smoke
love it
down.
when they, they're driving next to some like protesters or something like that, and they're just blowing all that smoke everywhere.
I think about it every time like we roll through like the square and they're protesting something. I'm like, God, I wish somebody would just cover them
Yep.
in coal. That'd be great. Oh man. All right. So July 18th, is that right? Is that when the show is? It's at here, let me pull up my thing here. Pleasant Valley Construction is considered the address. It's out on 18 here in Medina. It's your guys' 10th show, 3 to 8. $10 a car. You guys say over $800 car, 800 cars, but we're probably talking much more than that. 50-50 raffle, food truck vendors. How fun is that? You guys get a lot of people that want to take part in something like that? I imagine
Yeah.
a food truck. That's got
I mean, we try to keep it at all kinds of different, not everyone likes the same,
Yeah, of
like
course.
you would like, but yeah, we have about 5 or 6 of them and they're fantastic.
That's
They've
awesome.
like the food trucks that we have, they've won like Cleveland awards and
Oh,
stuff
wow.
like that.
So you got some
they're
good
not, they're not just your backyard food
Uh,
truck.
Bruce's Pick Award. Bruce Ho, is that grandfather?
That would be my uncle.
Your uncle?
Yeah.
So talk about that a little bit. You said that was kind of a pretty big impact on you when that happened.
Yeah. So my uncle Bruce is my dad's younger brother, and he was diagnosed with stage 4 stomach cancer. He was over my parents' house a couple weeks prior to this, and we were working on my dad's Camaro and stuff he had, and just having like pizza and a good time, and it was kind of hard for him to finish eating. Like he would do like maybe half of a slice
Oh, wow.
and he just said he really wasn't feeling good. And he went in and got a couple tests done and was diagnosed in November. It was like before Thanksgiving or a little bit right after stage 4 cancer. And we lost him in June. And he actually, the last car show he ever went to was mine.
Man.
So it's hard. It's hard to talk about sometimes. But we did that award for him the next year of what we think what car he would like. He's always
that's
been a
pretty
big
cool.
gearhead, and like we'd go to Lorain County Speedway all the time. Like me and him, we go watch the super modifieds and the wing sprints and stuff like that. And he was really close with my dad with the cars and stuff. And me and my cousin Sierra, his youngest, his daughter, me and her go and pick out the car that he would like, and we present that award. That's the
pretty
only
cool.
award that me and her do. But yeah, so that's what that is. So.
That's pretty awesome, man. It's something you guys get to continue to remember him for too every time you guys do this.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part, right? Like when we lose parts of the people that are there for us to have our entire process, not just family, but also, support the things that you do and stuff like that, for them not to be there. Then you're constantly reminded of that each year, but at least you found a way to make it something that you guys get to do together and enjoy.
Yeah, and it's cool. We had his benefit show at the same lot, and Gino said, whatever you guys do, just bring it here, and we had a great showing for him. Everyone brought their cars, and we did raffle baskets and stuff, and but yeah, that's one thing that will always stick with that is that award.
That's awesome, man. All right, let's do a quick rapid fire for you. You guys, you're gonna get a chance to think about this. Actually, you know what? I'll alternate this. So we'll go you first and then you second on some questions. All right, favorite muscle car?
65 Chevelle.
That's too easy.
Mhm.
Favorite import?
R32.
Ooh,
Good choice.
favorite truck?
Oh shit. Probably C10.
Oh yeah, it's a badass truck.
Yeah.
Favorite movie car?
The orange Supra from Fast and Furious.
Oh
2.
yes, oh, you're just a total import gearhead, aren't you? Most underrated classic.
See, you're giving me all the tough ones. I'd say the most underrated. Probably 60s. No. I'd probably say 62 Bubble Top Impala.
Oh man, I don't even know what that looks like.
They're beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I need a harder one for you. God, let's see here. I need to make one up because my list of questions is too easy based off of our rotation. Most memorable car you've seen at any of the shows?
Ooh.
Gotcha.
You almost got automatic or manual. That's a fucking stupid question. ChatGPT thought of that one.
Now, is this at any show or just? Okay.
Just this one.
Oh, just
Like your particular show,
I
the
gotcha.
Medina show.
Okay.
Probably Reza's fucking Camaro.
Is that the $500,000 build?
No,
No.
he wishes.
I don't know. But
No, I mean,
Reza's
yeah.
Camaro's,
The most memorable?
it's got hood. He's the only one that shows up with hood scoops.
Yeah, he's
Like
got,
hood exhaust out of
got
his
a-
Camaro.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
he's
so-
got a
sick.
twin turbo car and he's got the dumps right up the hood.
Oh, I love
And
that look.
it's obnoxious. And as soon as he pulls in, all you hear is a turbo spooling, and then he moves up a little bit, and then you hear nothing because
that's
it's just
awesome.
the turbos up front.
That's-
The car's awesome.
That's super cool. I see. That's a good one. You thought hard on that one. I
the only
appreciate
thing-
that.
exhaust.
All right.
Yeah.
Favorite show moments in 10 years?
Probably when we had Mike Booker in his Nitro Dragster.
Sweet.
So he brought it out and let everyone, sit in it and stuff like that. And then he actually fired it up, and it was cool because everyone was standing around it. And when the nitro cars, when they burn that 100% nitromethane, it's like walking into tear gas.
Oh man.
So you had all these people recording, and all of a sudden they're just like freaking cockroaches just scattering everywhere, and it was great. I loved
that's
it.
so cool.
Yeah, he brought that. He was going to bring it last year, but they ended up having some engine issues and stuff like that. But I mean, again, that's comes back to the affordable thing. It's $100,000 for a motor for these things, and when he brought it, I mean, he fired it up, and it was incredible.
Is that one of those things that where they like almost blow that just about every race when they fucking
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah,
really?
yeah. They go
rings and everything else every time.
the clutches, the rings. I mean, they take the whole rotating assembly out, so it's just a bare billet block, and then everything is in just pieces. So they probably have, I don't know, they probably got 10 people that are assigned to a specific part on the car when the car comes back. And like as soon as they get it back into their pit and it's up on the jacks, they're taking it apart.
Wow.
So you got like the top end guys with the blowers, and they're working on those. Then you got the intake guys, and then you got the rotating assembly guys, and then you have the rear end guys that are doing gear changes, and then you have them changing the clutches every pass. And I mean, these parts and stuff, they're scorching hot, and you got all these guys running around it and busting ass in it, and it's wild to watch it.
Yeah, it's funny as we've talked about like how culture's changed over the course of the years and like what the future looks like. And when you talk about like even NASCAR and Indy, of course, and like how the technology's developed over the course of the years, it's almost like the guys that are racing at the top of their game right now, like the NASCAR circuits, the F1 and things like that, they're like the 16-year-old kid with no money is like the same level of professionalism 50 years ago. Right. Like the amount of change that's happened to race cars over that course of year, the technology that goes into how they develop the parts and how they change the way that they bank. That movie with Brad Pitt was like a huge thing to me because I was just like, holy crap, they could literally just basically practice the car without going anywhere. Like that's insane, right?
Yeah, now they're doing all these the simulators now. You got
that you can check wind, you can check
exactly
like all that stuff all
and
with
you got
inside
driver
there.
Practice like Carson Hocevar. He's a big upcoming NASCAR guy, and he's got his own YouTube channel, but he does a lot of his stuff is him in the simulator, like record, like they're just watching, and it's literally, I mean, as far as a simulator, I mean, it's to the T. I mean, your tire pressure difference, your you know,
Wow.
the heat and all that, it acts the same way as if you were in the real car. So instead of us going out and practicing when it's 100 degrees out on the track, we're just going to do it in the fucking AC and we're going to race for a couple hours.
That's sweet. Yeah, that's impressive, man. Some of the stuff that's changed, and who knows what it's going to look like in the future.
Oh, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
It's going to be nuts.
Like you're going to be like building parts with the machine in the freaking background of the pits so that when the car comes in, you could basically replace a fucking engine block in 30
You're going to
seconds.
be 3D printing engine blocks in the background.
All right, last one we'll end on. Favorite car movie? We'll start with you.
Gone in 60 Seconds.
Of course.
American Graffiti.
Oh, I haven't watched American Graffiti in a long time. I just watched Gone in 60 Seconds on like Tubu or something the other day. It was like I had to watch all these commercial breaks and shit, and then I had to stop in the middle of it, and it didn't start back in the same spot. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
But
American Graffiti is a classic.
That's
Gone in
awesome.
60 Seconds. Now, is it the original one or the Eleanor one?
The Eleanor one.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely the Eleanor one. That car just looks so bad. And I don't think there's any kid, that didn't want that car. Doesn't still want
I
that.
still
That
want
exact fucking
My
car.
favorite
like-
scene too in that is where he's coming up after his mirror's broken
Yeah.
and it's hanging off, and the car is sitting there under the overpass idling. And every time I just crank my stereo, and
You
I
just
crank
hear
the
that
surround
vibration.
sound, and that's just like, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, this is fucking great.
Oh, that,
You know, and as a kid when it came out, you're like, oh man, that car's awesome. And then you start watching it when you're getting older, you're like, damn, that thing sounds good even in the movie.
yeah.
You know, so that pick that's a good pick.
Yeah, that's 100% a car that I. And it's funny too. That's another thing. Like, do you remember leaving the movie theaters after you watched a movie like that? Now everybody they watch it on Netflix when a new movie comes out or whatever.
Right.
Like, once again, just lost generation. I remember the first Fast and Furious, leaving the parking lot, and all you just heard was like everything from like a Kia Optima to a freaking Toyota Celica just peeling out in the movie lot parking lot.
Yeah. It's cool when they bring those back into theaters sometimes because then like you actually get the crowds that want to meet up and have a car meet and go watch the movie.
Yeah, it's once again, it's just these little things that nostalgia that I hope that doesn't die, especially when it comes to cars. You know, there's a reason people still watch old movies, right? Because now it's all green screen.
Yeah.
You know, you talk about the old Dukes and Hazzard. I think I can't remember how they would wreck like an average of like 2 cars a show or something like that. That's why there's no 69. Was it 69 Charger that was in that one? Is that right?
Sounds right.
But there's like none of them left because they just destroyed so many making that TV series or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, now half the stuff's not even real. It's,
and in the movies, you know, like Fast and the Furious movie, I think they destroyed probably like 30 cars.
Oh,
or
at
more.
least, dude.
Yeah, or
at
more.
least. Especially in the original couple of them.
Exactly.
You know?
It breaks my heart thinking of how many Supras got messed up, doesn't it? It's like, damn.
God, that car was so sexy, though. Man.
I'd even take it when it was just a piece of shit.
Yeah, right? You have no faith.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, hey, I appreciate you guys both coming on. I wish you guys the best of the luck once again for those listening. July 18th here in Medina. It's the 10th annual show. North of 1,400 cars expected. Hopefully we can see that get close to 2,000. And it doesn't matter if you've got a souped up truck, jacked up truck, car, classic, new hot rod, your buddy's Challenger or SRT8. Those are going to be classics. They don't make them anymore.
Yeah.
These things are slowly disappearing. Does anybody even make a sports car anymore? Excited to make it out to the show and be a part of it. Appreciate you guys coming on, sharing that. And then for you guys listening too, make sure you guys step out to the Common Grounds August 1st. As we put together our first show. I don't expect anywhere near the amount of people that you're going to get, but hopefully we'll get off to a first start. We appreciate that, man.
Yeah, we'll be
for
there.
sure.
We appreciate you having us on too.
Yeah, it's a great story. It's awesome when you hear an origin story. You know, people look at this now and they probably just see, 1,400 people interested. They don't realize the sweat and tears that went into that over the course of 10
cars,
years.
a grill that was barely working, some chalk on a menu, and that was it.
Yeah, you had me at $2 hot dogs and burgers, man. That was a thing of the past. Can't even make those at home.
Good
for
old
that.
GFS and got some hot dogs and burgers and stuff. And hey, we made it work, but it was fun.
That's
and
awesome.
This year, I look forward to it and look forward to see what Andrew's got in the future.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it. We'll definitely be there, and good luck to you guys.
Thanks, man.
Thanks.
All right. Good night, everybody.